Hello, and this is a guide from Space Monkey Studios showing you how we go about setting up a table for a game of Pillage.
Okay, so step one is picking what surface you want to play your game on. And there's several options for this we have at our club. Option one is it's kind of like a fur blanket, and I've seen the likes of Seventh Son use something similar for their ground. I mean, it looks pretty good with the grass type pattern on it. What I do find is it can be quite slippy on the table when you're using it. Figures will fall over on that quite a bit just because it's quite smooth. So I'm going to discount that one for this game. Our next option is a neoprene roll, which again is, I mean, it looks impressive when it's rolled out. It's got the grass effect, lovely. But what you need is something that your models aren't going to slip on, and that is very smooth, very smooth. Option three is this kind of grass effect. It's very texture grass-like. I'm not sure where this comes from, and this is actually in our club, so I'm going to have to do a bit of research into where this came from. I'll post something on screen now if I've located where that's come from. But that's quite a good option. It is quite smooth on the underside. With the smoothness of this table, it may mean it will slide as well, which leads me to option four, which tends to be my go-to, and this is from Deep Cut Studios. And it's kind of that mouse mat texture, really grips the table to stop it from moving around, gives you a very solid base for everything else that you build on top. So in this case, I'm going to use option four, but in future I will definitely try the option three because I think that will aesthetically look quite impressive. And there's your Deep Cut Studios Muddy Field mat on the table. Give it a good push around. It really grips, so that's a good basis for putting your models on. Very flat though, so next options is how do you get some texture, some variation in height. So we've got buildings, we've got hills, so that's what comes next. Okay, so we've got some hills here. These ones are from a company called Callistra Limited in Nottingham. They come pretty plain with the grass texture on it. So they kind of come like this when you buy them from the company. And what I've done is just spruced them up a bit, added some rocks, foliage, some ground texture, just to make it pop a bit more, tie in with some of the models that I've got and the aesthetic I'm going for. But there's a nice range there. You get several different size hills, and obviously with the grass texture on top, it stops your model slipping when they're on that uneven ground. So I find them really, really useful. I've then got some other options that we've got. Now these are just handmade ones that are just styrofoam, cut with a hot wire, covered in flock, and given the same treatment as the Callistra Hills. What I've done is stuck a tree in there and put some foliage on there as well to give you a bit more of a feature for that. And then this one's the same, just gives you a bit of variation in the hills. Then next we have our buildings. So we've got these Viking style houses here from a company called Rendera, I believe. You buy them as a plastic kit and box. I'll put that on the screen now as well, so you know what I'm talking about. I've added some of this on top, which is kind of your scouring pad that you can get from any of your normal retailers. In the UK, I've picked that up from Home Bargains, but you can get it online pretty much anywhere. Give it a spray in black or a dark brown, then a lighter spray on top with like a bone colour, and it comes out lovely for thatch. I then tend to put a bit of an ink wash, maybe greens and browns, just to muddy it up. You can add a bit of foliage to it if you want. Like here we've got just a bit, brings it to life a bit more, gives you a bit more texture, rather than just the plastic that's got some lines etched in it. I really appreciate that look a little bit more. Obviously it's thatch, you don't need to be really careful with the lines and stuff, but you can do it however you want. And these, because Pillage has rules for going inside, and the Rendera kit actually has beds and stuff, I've added some pots and beds and blanket rolls from other sprues just to bring it to life a bit more. So we've got 3 of those, and you can obviously do them in different ways. Added some antlers there, some kind of hunter lives in this one. Again, a little work desk and bedding. You obviously don't have to go to this level. I do tend to get carried away when I get caught up in the theme of things. And the third one's here, a bit larger base. You've got Warrior lives there with his shield and sword and fur and everything. So yeah, so that's our 3 little cottages. I've then got a blacksmith's, which is a 3D print that you can get off online. I bought this originally for Baron's War, but you know, Vikings have weaponry as well, so why not throw it into the Pillage era as well. So that's our little blacksmith there. I'll put a link, if I can, to the company on there. And finally, a bit of a conversion that we've got here. It's the mead hall. So Viking mead hall, built from the Games Workshop new Rohan kit. New starter box gets a couple of Rohan buildings in there. And what I've done is, you kind of building would come to here. I've used another roof section to bring it right down to the floor, and then a removable top. I do plan to put stuff in there, but I'll probably have it so you can remove it depending on what scenario you've got. So you can actually get inside the meat hall, but yeah, I've not gone as mad on that one as I have on the little cottages yet. But yeah, that's our buildings. And I've just placed them on the table quite randomly. Pillage rulebook does give you some options for scenarios. What I'm going for here is just a village in the middle where people can get involved and get into a fight. Don't want it dominated in the middle by a hill or anything, so pretty open at the moment. And it does look open. So next I'm going to add some roads, some trees, and some little fields I've pulled together and see how that looks. Okay, so as promised, next we have the fields. Now, starting at the top, we've got basically what is just a foot mat, some rough textured foot mat, cut into pieces, irregular pieces, because obviously Dark Ages, you've not got any of those medieval strip farming. They basically find a bit of land, plant some corn, wheat, or whatever it is. Yeah, so there's just some irregular bits there that I'll add to the map in random places. I've then got a little pigsty that I've pulled together. You've got that wattle daub fencing, which is from Rendera again. I believe the Perry Miniatures do a kit, which is the little cottage. I've done here as a pub for Baron's War, but I thought I'd show you. You get in the kit, you get this nice little plastic building. I've obviously thatched the roof in there, similar style to before, but you get this wattle daub fence, and I think you can buy that separately as well now. But that's perfect for just doing some things like a little, pig pen, and I've then done a paddock there just to separate out some of the ground, give you some objectives. You can put your objective in the middle of the field, and some scenery the guys need to clamber over. So there's our fields. And next we've got our road sections. Now these are from the club. I'm going to make some similar, so they tie in a bit more with the terrain that I've pulled together, but I'm going to follow the symbol principle, as in, you've got some thin MDF, put a bit of paste on top and paint it how you like it. And there's some great road sections here from the club. The reason I haven't done them myself is because these are available and easy to use. So I'm going to use these for this video, but do plan in the long term to do some of my own roads, so I'm not just borrowing from the club all the time. Okay, now trees. Now these are really for Pillage. Pillage kind of has woodland areas, so we put some trees on some bases, added some foliage to them. The trees themselves are from Woodland Scenics, and they tend to come, this is a smaller version, but they tend to come like this. Malleable plastic, you can twist them into any shape you want. These are some of the larger ones that we've actually used for the trees. But as you see, you twist them up, add a bit of foliage that you can get from Woodland Scenics as well, and I think they look decent. Obviously, making it look like a woodland base. There's bits of sticks and stuff that we pick up from walking the dog. If my wife goes mad because I see a decent looking twig, I'll pick it up. But you've got to do what you've got to do. You've got some stones on there as well, just stones out of the garden. All of that stuff on the base just helps it bring it to life. And then you've got some of the other, little flower packs that you can get from different basin companies, your tufts of grass, and then flock it. And that gives you a decent woodland effect. Not very nice for figures moving into the woods, but Pillage rules seem quite gentle with moving through woods and stuff, so it's not a big problem, and I do like the aesthetic. So yeah, that's our woods. And there's our battlefield with all the aforementioned terrain set up on it. Now, I think that looks okay, but what I'd like to add is a bit more life to the table. And the way you can do that is by adding things like pillage tokens, animals. And the lovely thing with pillage is, you can add some peasantry on there. They could be pillage tokens in their own right, things that the Vikings can come in and steal and take away. So yeah, I've got a few options. I'm going to add some other aesthetics, so a little campfire, a well for the village, and some carts. And hopefully once I've added those pieces, it should bring it to life a bit. Okay, so this is the table after I've added some scatter, some pillage tokens, some animals, some civilians, just to try and bring it to life a bit. And like I say, you can go as mad as you want to with this. It's probably a bit cluttered for a game in itself, but I just want to show you what you can kind of pull together and what effect that will have. So there's a nice farmyard animals pack. I'm still obviously waiting, like everyone else who's into pillage, for the Victrix medieval farm animals, but Bolt Action, surprisingly enough, that World War II game actually do a kit of farm animals. So all the animals you can see on here are generally from that kit. So we've got some sheep in there, and I've got a 3D print of a little lad with a bucket and wooden sword. He tend to be a soldier like his dad, looking after the sheep there up on the hillside. We've then got a miller here coming to market with his cart. I will put up a link to, or at least advise who these different models come from, because if I see a decent medieval kind of peasant civilian figure, I tend to pick them up. They generally do mix quite well with each other, the ranges that I've selected. But I'm pretty sure the lady here with the sun pointing is from Reconquista miniatures, which do a beautiful range of medieval Spanish during the Reconquista, and their civilians are brilliant. These are two D&D civilians. Don't know what company did them, but they actually, for being soft plastic, they painted up quite nice, and they mix in really well with the Reconquista. You've got your marketplace in the back there, which I've used from the Wargames Atlantic kit. That's a really nice one. Got a well, a little goat there. Using my paddock for some cows, again from that Bolt Action kit. And we've got a little milkmaid there in the centre from Reconquista as well. What I have done is I've got a load of little tokens that I've pulled together just from different kits. Lots of buckets and baskets you get from the marketplace in the Wargames Atlantic Baron's War kit starter set, and I've just filled them with antlers and horns and swede. I just rolled up bits of green stuff to represent some root veg, and you got your pots and stuff there, so I've done all those as well. What else have we got? Yeah, got to fill the pigs to die with some pigs again from that Bolt Action kit. Got a poacher there coming back with his kill from the woods. It's a nice little Reconquista miniature there. Some more there. The fire pit. So that's just hobbled together from a load of different stuff, matchsticks and bits from the Rendera kits. I just put some stones around the floor, added a bit of cotton wool pulled out for the smoke of the fire, and then you've got your fire source for your pillage games, which is always good to have. Some carts. Any of these that perks anyone's interest, if you put in the comments, I will try to find out where I've got them from, but a lot of the pillage tokens are just bits from different sprues that I've thrown together. Obviously these look a bit like stuff that the blacksmith would have made, put on some boxes, so yeah, I'll just put them there next to him. And that is the gaming table for a game of Pillage. Bring it into focus and let me know what you think. Thanks a lot for your time. Bye now.